So I saw a video the other day come up on my suggestion feed called Samuel Leeds Exposed, and it was done by the BBC. Let's talk about it. So a recent YouTube guru teaching buying houses and real estate with no money down recently got exposed. His name is Samuel Leeds. And what surprised me about this was this expose was actually made by the BBC, which basically just made me click on the video and I watched the entire thing. Some crazy stuff. So this is kind of going to be slightly different from other videos I've made in the past. It's not really directly SMMA related, but it's more of my current, I guess, rant highlighting the issues with the info product space. And I feel like a lot of people would benefit from me making this video, so I'm gonna speak on it. So to give a very, very brief summary, basically someone that was upsold to Samuel Leeds' coaching and mentoring program actually, for £13,000, right? Killed themselves because sadly, like what happened was he took out a loan to secure his place for this mentorship program and didn't get the results that he wanted. Or was advertised to him, and sadly he eventually decided to take his own life, which is quite crazy when I actually put it into words like that. This was brought up to the BBC, and BBC conducted a whole investigation on Samuel Leeds and made it into an expose, and it highlights kind of a few of the very key issues within kind of like the info product mentoring kind of space. So 3 of my biggest issues personally with kind of all of this is the fact that, there's 3 main tactics that they use to try to sell you on these courses. Now they either get you through like a free webinar or a free 2-day event over a weekend or something. And they use things like urgency to get you to buy on impulse. And, these free webinars or events are constantly trying to upsell you onto different programs, different courses. Now, there are people that do it well and there are people that don't do it well. And I feel like it's such an easy space to get into just because anyone can just book a hotel room in, like, let's say the Hilton or whatever, and run some Facebook ads and get like 400 people in a room quite easily. Like, I promise you, it's actually not that hard to do so. And, just speak to them for a day and then close people on courses that are valued up to like £2,000 to £3,000 sometimes. And ultimately what happens is, you're just upsold onto this essentially like dream lifestyle that the person speaking on stage has. And then you're told that you can get the same results if you buy their course. Personally, I've been upsold on these events as well. The first free event I went to, I actually paid £2,000 for a course for like a weekend training boot camp because I really liked the way they sold to me. And I was just like, to be honest, like, I just kind of saw it as an investment in myself, and I knew full well that the value delivered in that course probably wasn't going to be that worth my time, just because most of the stuff they talked about at the free event I already knew about, but I was just like kind of curious, kind of not to see what they have installed. So yeah, and also the way I see like buying courses and stuff, you're going to waste money on courses and on BS courses. It's just like inevitable, but it's like the money wasted, it still means you're probably going to buy 1 or 2 great courses. Like, for example, I bought Agency Incubator, which in my opinion is worth way more to me than the £2,000 course I paid for. But, like without trialing and erroring different courses, there's really no way to determine which courses you would be suited for. So yeah, it's not something I regret, but after attending that free event, I did feel like very just drained because they were constantly trying to upsell. But I mean, I don't have any hate towards that personally, just because, like, in my opinion, everyone wants to get theirs and it's completely understandable why they upsell you. But just some of the tactics that I saw being exposed by the BBC, which I really kind of had a problem with, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. So just wanted to put out there, like, the way they sold to this poor man is unacceptable. The guy came into the free consultation or whatever, or like the discovery meeting essentially, telling the rep, like, he might need to take out a loan for this mentoring program. And it's just like, you should never be signing people up to like a mentorship program where they're taking out a loan for, because that just shows their naivety in terms of business, where it's like, if you want to invest in yourself, perfect, that's honestly amazing, but do not take out a loan, like. But the way they kind of upsold it was like, as soon as they heard the loan stage, the sales rep or whatever should have just cut the meeting there and then. Just say like, I don't think this mentorship program is for you. You really shouldn't be, like making financial decisions like that. But unfortunately, with the current state of the industry, that's like kind of standard practice almost. So yeah, that was very, very sad. And to be honest, this incident could have just been entirely prevented had they just taken the right ethical measures when it comes to selling. And to be honest, they should have given the guy a full refund as soon as they realized there were more issues and complications with his case. Very, 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 very sad situation. But to be honest, I also wanted to say something that I know this point I'm about to make is going to be highly controversial, and you can hate me if you want, but this is personally just my opinion and my opinion alone. And it's that, the entire blame for this situation can't be entirely placed on Samuel Leeds and his team. Now, here's why. Because in my opinion, when something like this occurs, it's more of the straw that broke the camel's back, as opposed to being like the entire cause for this incident. What I mean by that is, for someone to take out a £13,000 loan who is already in debt, they have bigger personal issues that's like aside from this. And they kind of saw this as a way out, where it's like, if I pay for this mentorship program, I will learn how to get on the real estate market with no money down, and this is going to be the solution to all my financial issues. But to be honest, for someone to be in that position, they must have bigger mental problems and other personal issues that I don't even understand myself. And there's no way that it would be conveyed on a BBC expose. So it's just like this unfortunate incident of him being upsold to with unethical practices is a culmination of his personal issues and the upselling. I don't even know how to put this into coherent words, but the upselling was the straw that broke the camel's back. And to be honest, as a human being, if you're a grown adult, there's certain responsibilities you need to take for your own financial actions. So it's just the blame cannot entirely be placed on Samuel Leeds, in my personal opinion. But definitely what he did was highly unethical, and his sales rep and his company should definitely be reprimanded for what happened. I definitely think it's just a fucked up situation. I don't even know how else to put it, to be honest. When I saw that video, it was so sad to me how someone killed themselves because they were upsold onto a course, essentially. So one of my friends and subscribers actually went to one of his free 2-day trainings, and he described it as it was very, very just hard selly. And I completely understand. I mean, most of these 2-day events, the whole point of them is to upsell you onto a course, because honestly, it costs a lot of money to hire out these venues and run these ads. And, it's just why would they do something that's entirely for your benefit? Because business is in such a way where it's you're always, it's a give and take kind of situation. You think I'm going to give you all this free knowledge and then just not try to extract any value out of you? Of course not. That's not how the world works. But I do think the biggest issue is you need to kind of be more transparent with it. Yes, I can give you all this free information, but at the end, I'm going to ask you, do you want to join this more higher level course where I teach more in-depth knowledge? And if you say yes, perfect. If you say no, completely fine. And, if the fact that I'm going to try to sell you on what I believe is an amazing course, and you're turned off by that and you don't want to go to the free event, also completely fine, So I think transparency is one of the biggest factors that's needed. But the thing is though, to get people in the door, you kind of can't be too transparent at the same time, because just like how I said, in my last week's Don't Start SMMA video. It's like, if you just told someone up front, like, okay, cool, yes, you can have the private jet, yes, you can have the Lambo, yes, you can have the mansion in like 5 years' time, but during this 5 years leading up to that stage, you're going to be working your ass off every single day, Monday to Saturday, no breaks. It's going to test your mental health. It's going to do all of this. It's just unattractive. This offer, if you were to make it very, very realistic, it's just like, it's just such a shit offer, because you're essentially telling someone to put themselves through hell to potentially have a chance at reaching their, financial goals or life goals or whatever. So yeah, it's not the most attractive offer, but shit, some of us are still buying into it. But anyways, going back to the BBC's expose, when I saw that, honestly, that shit hurt, because, how these free events and like free boot camps essentially are, how it works is predicated on exploiting sounds a very strong word, but it's to trigger buying behavior through impulse. And that's often not really like a great qualification process. So I think one of the big solutions for this kind of problem in this industry is just by putting a more intense and rigorous qualification process for anybody that tries to sign on to a mentoring program. Because a mentoring program and a coaching program it can get very like personal at times, sometimes you're teaching someone to solve their like deep rooted personal issues, and definitely not everyone is ready for that, and not everyone is ready to make the financial and the time and effort commitment required to reach whatever goal they set for themselves. So yeah, like these kinds of incidents should never, ever, ever occur within this industry, because to be honest, anyone that gets into this industry, initially, I truly do believe their intention is to make an impact on other people's lives. Because without your intentions being in the right place, there's just no way of succeeding, because subconsciously and through your body language and things like that, you're going to communicate, your own greed within yourself. So definitely, these incidents should never occur, and you need a better, more rigorous qualification process to kind of prevent these things from happening in the future. So yeah, slightly more on a tangent from the kind of videos I normally do, but I do think my perspective is necessary, and I really did want to speak on this topic. So if you enjoyed this video, give this video a like and subscribe for more SMMA related content in the future. Again, condolences to the families affected and the friends affected, because, one person taking their own life doesn't just impact the mother, father, but it also impacts like best friends, and it can severely traumatize someone, So this situation is fucked beyond belief. The info product industry as a whole needs to improve, and some of the practices nowadays I see going on is not entirely correct in my opinion. Personally, I wouldn't be taking those approaches. So yeah, I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Bye guys.